Week 9 of college football, some great matchups across the board. Northwestern Iowa maybe not qualifying as a great matchup, but we're going to make that pick as well. I'll give you a score prediction for the Wildcats and the Hawkeyes. But we start off week 9 with Notre Dame and Syracuse. The Irish traveling on the road to the Dome to take on the Orange. I've got Notre Dame going on the road and upsetting Syracuse. TCU and West Virginia, the Horned Frogs, 7.5-point favorites. I think they cover on the road. Ultimately, the Horned Frogs win by 10, 11, something like that. Ohio State and Penn State. Ohio State 15.5-point favorites. I saw what they did against that Iowa defense last week. Found a way to put up 54 points against an Iowa defense that I thought was terrific for the majority of that game. Ohio State teams that score points just score points. I've got Ohio State winning this game. I've got them covering their 15.5-point favorites. Oklahoma State taking on K-State in Manhattan. I've got Kansas State winning this game, and I've got them covering. They are 1.5-point favorites. Close line here between the Cowboys and the Wildcats. Florida and Georgia. Georgia, 22.5-point favorites. I think the Gators cover that number, but Georgia wins outright. This maybe is my most intriguing matchup of the week. Illinois and Nebraska. Illinois, 7.5-point favorites, but they're going on the road to Lincoln. This is a fun one, folks. Brett Bielema looking to continue his quest for a Big Ten West title. Incredible that the Illini have gotten to this point so quickly under Brett Bielema. I've got Illinois winning this game. I actually think the Huskers cover. I could see this coming down to a final kick. This will be a one-score game. Nebraska covers the 7.5. Oregon on the road, 17.5-point favorites on the road. What does that tell you about the Cal program? I've got Oregon winning this game. I've got them winning by like 25. I think they win this game easily, and they cover the number. Kentucky on the road being tested. If Ohio State's not the best offense in the country, it's likely Tennessee. The Wildcats have their hands full this weekend. Tennessee, 12.5-point favorites. I like the Volunteers to win this game, and as much as I respect Mark Stoops, he's a defensive-minded coach. I think Tennessee covers. Just too much offense, too much athleticism, and the Volunteers win this game easily. USC and Arizona, the Trojans, 15.5-point favorites on the road in Tucson. Boy, there are some really bad Pac-12 teams. And I know maybe they'd say the same thing about the Big Ten with Northwestern and, well, I don't even know. Who else is really bad? Rutgers, maybe? I don't really think Rutgers is really bad. But you're talking Arizona, Cal. I mean, there's some bad teams out west. I've got USC winning this game. I got them winning by like 30. I think they win easily on the road, again, against Jaden DeLora and the Wildcats. How about this for an in-state rivalry? Michigan and Michigan State. When's the last time the Wolverines were 22.5-point favorites? No way does Mel Tucker and this Spartan team allow that to happen. Michigan will win this game, but I just don't know how Michigan State does not get up for it. They'll cover. The Wolverines, though, will come out on top. Ole Miss and Texas A&M. The Rebels, 2.5-point favorites. I've got A&M in the upset here at home. They'll ride the home crowd and find a way to take down the Rebels. Pittsburgh and North Carolina. North Carolina, 3.5-point favorites. Once again, I have the road team going to North Carolina and upsetting the Tar Heels. Pittsburgh wins. Pittsburgh covers. And that brings us to the matchup you Iowa fans are here for. Iowa and Northwestern. The Hawkeyes, 3-4 on the season. And if you want any chance to get to bowl eligibility, you better win this football game. All right? Iowa's 11-point favorites against Northwestern team. And if you saw my preview that was published earlier on Thursday, this is not a very good football team on either side of the ball, which surprises you because typically Fitzgerald, he'll have a bad year and he'll find a way to recover. Not so this year. They are bad in almost every statistical category. Now, Hull, their running back, has had some games over 100 yards rushing. They can rush the ball at times, but against Iowa's defensive front that looked a lot better last week against Ohio State than they looked against Illinois and Michigan. I don't know how Northwestern moves the football. I really don't. And I've said that before. And for the most part, I've been right. Rutgers had problems moving the football against Iowa. Illinois had problems running the football against Iowa. South Dakota State had problems running and just moving the football against Iowa. Iowa's offense obviously can't get out of its own way more often than not. And that's where the 4 losses, I think you can attribute those 4 losses primarily to the offensive side of the ball, clearly. Can Northwestern get to 300 yards total in the game? Well, maybe they eclipsed 342 against Wisconsin. but lost that game 42-7. Now, Iowa does not have the offense or the run game to make to score 42. All right. But I do think Iowa wins this game, and I think they win it semi-comfortably. I'm taking Northwestern against the number. All right. Northwestern against the number. Iowa wins 24-15. The Hawkeyes take down the Wildcats in Kinnick Stadium and move to 4-4, keeping their bowl hopes alive, heading into a final stretch of Purdue, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Nebraska.